my home. Freedom Park is the home of creatives. A lot of people that come to Freedom Park appreciate the arts, appreciate their culture, and appreciate being African. When you come to Freedom Park, you know that you get live music and poetry and drama, and all this promotes, our culture and our traditions.
The high-rises and busy roads of Lagos Island today stand beside its last goodbyes to a story that is as old as it is rich and diverse. It is difficult to deny the energy that drives Lagos and the power that the money commands. But our old city is more original than most can claim to be. Despite decades of British rule, Lagos itself was named by the Portuguese after their word for lakes, and some of the most notable buildings in Lagos were designed with Brazilian architecture. The soul of the city was the music that was played in venues like Jazz 38, Jazzville and Stadium Hotel, by greats like Bobby Benson, Victor Olaiya, and the Juju King himself, Tunde King. Fast forward, Lagos was invited to host the biggest celebration of arts and culture, Festac 77. And to make that 1 month a success, the Nigerian government built the National Theatre and an entirely new residential area known as Festac Village, which is now known as Festac Town, in order to accommodate all the participants. Now all that money was spent not for the sake of African stories, but because there was oil wealth and the capital of this new, rich Nigeria needed a facelift. Art itself is a reflection of the original spirit of the people. However, when that art crosses the line, the powers that be put it down. The old Broad Street prison on Ganiu Smith Street, Lagos Island, served this purpose: to suppress the freedoms of expression, association, movement, and that of speech. In 1861, the British negotiated the terms of colonization with Oba Dosunmu aboard HMS Prometheus. The Oba resisted the terms of the treaty, but under the threat to unleash violence on Lagos by Commander Bedingfield, Dosunmu relented and signed the Lagos Treaty of Secession on August 6, 1861. But 11 years later, the British created a yard to house dissidents and those it labelled as criminals. The Colonial Report for 1898 tells us that 676 males, 26 females, and 11 juveniles were imprisoned at Broad Street during that year. The yard was initially built with mud and thatch, but political activists kept burning it down. So in 1885, the British imported bricks to build a proper wall around the structure. The Broad Street prison was primarily built for a special type of person. Herbert Macaulay, Pa Michael Imodu, Anthony Inahoro, Obafemi Awolowo, and all those who chose to speak out against colonization and agitate for independence. The prison was finally demolished in 1979, and today on those prison grounds there is a statue of Awolowo, Sir Ahmadu Bello and Nnamdi Azikiwe, which pays homage to those who fought for our nation's freedom. Where the attire of the day was once prison uniforms, the fashion of the new Freedom Park is a testament to each individual's originality, as well as how we have mixed foreign influences in the most basic elements of our style while remaining true to ourselves.
The effect Freedom Park has had on my business, because what I do is artistic and creative, and most of the people that come to Freedom Park, they are artistic and creative as well. So there are people who appreciate the arts, who appreciate crafts as well. So it's a great thing, but that's one of the reasons why I chose to come to Freedom Park anyway. Everything I use is locally sourced. So I use Ankara, Ashoke, Adire, most of the things I use, shells, everything that reflects me being an African, that speaks about being African.
The new Freedom Park was created in 2010 for one purpose: to build a space where people can enjoy themselves while still acknowledging the grim struggles of our heroes past. So out of the pain and despair of years past, they created something new and original, a tribute to our past and the promise of a better future. In the midst of the models of prison cells, there are statues that depict the people of Nigeria before colonization. They stand side by side with the new buildings of the park, an effort to rethink the pain and subjugation of the past. And where the prison's kitchen used to be, now sits a food court. The present food court is set up in front of a soundstage from which a DJ plays recorded music. This mix reflects in the food that sits on the tables and the dishes of the people at the park.
This is our kitchen over here. The chef is doing his thing, making some rice or something, you know. Nigeria likes spicy. We like spicy stuff, so we play more with chili. It's chili. Okay, we can look on the ground over there. You see all the sauce. That's fish sauce, actually, the fish of life. It looks that way right now, but when it's heated up, it's something different, Well, that's fish, the fish of life is just coming out from the fryer, Man, the fish has been going out since morning. We're happy. The customers are happy, so we're here. We're Jackson Chow.
The ambience of Freedom Park reflects one thing above all: rebirth. It is about freedom in the face of contradicting influences. But living original comes at a cost. Where the gallows once were, where the most dangerous prisoners were taken to meet their end, now stands a stage. On the third Friday of every month, this stage hosts Afropolitan Vibes, a celebration of indigenous music. There is no auto-tuned voices or synths allowed here. It is a natural expression at its finest. But at all times, in one way or the other, either with their clothing or the message that is preached, the music of Freedom Park pays homage to the African spirit. It is original, like the drum beats and the instruments that the music rolls over. The spirit of Freedom Park asks you to stand tall in the midst of suppression. It carries a promise that our identity, the music, the arts, food and fashion will remain even in the midst of a myriad of influences. It asks us to rise up to the challenge and rethink our history on our own terms. From a prison built by foreigners to silence expression, to a place of leisure and celebration, it begs us to stay true to ourselves and remain original, like a city set free.